put August 31st. That might be a day early. Might not. On these notes, linear and quadratic equations. So we're just going to work on some review on solving equations. The first one has just x in it, so we're solving for x. The fractions are a problem, and we could work with fractions, but I don't recommend it. We can avoid those fractions by just clearing the fractions. We're going to multiply this whole function by the common denominator of 5 and 2. All right, so when we do our multiplication, our numerator, x minus 1, so when we multiply by 10 and divide by 5, that leaves us a 2 left. So this will be multiplied by 2. We just cleared the denominator of 5. Now, the second fraction, 2 will go into 10 5 times, which leaves us 5x. And don't forget to multiply the constant. Now we have a fairly easy linear equation to solve. So let's go through the solving steps. Okay, I'm going to skip a step and I'm going to add 2 to both sides, get 7x equals 42. Looks like we get our answer of x equals, 7 goes in 42 6 times. 6 times 7 is 42, 6 times 8 is 48. Okay, now in this curriculum, you don't have to check. If, let's say you enter that, let's say you're doing this problem on the quiz online, and you enter that number and you don't get the, it says it's not correct, go ahead and go through the check and see if that's the wrong answer, if maybe you just put it in the wrong form. So use the checks if you need to. You are not required to do them. Okay, I just want to solve the equation for y in terms of x. So we're so used to solving for x that if you're solving for an equation that also has x in it, go ahead and underline that variable that you're going to solve for. All right, we'll just leave the y by itself on that side of the equal sign. We're going to zero out the other terms. And we have y is equal to 5x minus 4. Example 3, solve the quadratic equation by factoring. This is a pattern, and in the couple pages before the problems, they show you factoring patterns. Or maybe it's the previous chapter. Anyways, this is a difference in two squares. We have two terms, a x squared term and a number term. We're just going to take the square root of both sides, 2x and 4. With that negative, one of the 4's needs to be negative, the other needs to be positive. That's the reason that the x term doesn't show up. Negative 8x, positive 8x cancel each other out. And we're done. Remember that pattern. Solve the equation by factoring. In order to do this, we need to do like the previous problem. We need a 0 on one side, because we're going to use the property of zero product, which means we're going to write this as a multiplication problem, and each part of the multiplication is going to be equal to 0. So two things that multiply to give us negative 7 and combine to give us a negative 6. X minus 7, x plus 1. And our two solutions from those factors, we're going to change the sign on both of those. We get x equals 7, x equals negative 1. Same idea. You do not have to check. You might want to go back through the check to find an error. Okay, this is a pretty good place to stop. I'll see you on the next video.